today, right here, right now. This is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and we're going to discover exactly how right here, right now,
on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Liz Sporn, a guide here at Profit First Professionals.
and this is co-host 3, Mike Michalowicz here, author of Profit First, and the book also is out there called All In About Leadership. You, my friends, are listening to GMAP, Grow My Accounting Practice. This is a show where we teach you the step-by-step to do that. If you're an accountant, bookkeeper, or coach, welcome to the show that's going to transform your life. You're a great guest today. We're going to talk about codifying wisdom through AI systems to blow your mind away, I suspect.
And it's not codifying, it's codifying.
Thanks for
Words,
clarifying.
reading matters.
Reading matters.
Thanks for clarifying it. We also have insider access, something Ron's doing here at our offices. We think you could take R&D, as we say, rip off and duplicate at your offices, and have GMAP Now tasks. One task, if you do it, you will see results.
And guys, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to Grow My Accounting Practice podcast so you never miss an episode. And thank you, Michelle Weinstein from The Abundant Accountant, who is sponsoring today's episode. Michelle is one of the finest accounting sales trainers out there. She's helped lots of our members close deals, and that's what it's all about. So, hey, Michelle, tell her, if you reach out to Michelle, tell her Ron said hello. And Liz said, give a discount.
Yes, Michelle, give my discount. The Ron discount.
So, Liz, before we rock and roll with our guest, I just want to get a sense, how are you feeling? This is episode 2 of our new format. Are you feeling in the groove yet?
Well, I'm very vain. So my hair, I think, is looking pretty solid.
Hair looks
I changed the camera settings so I don't have that wonky background. And I added a filter so I look like an angel. So I am feeling amazing. And those of you who are still just listening, you're missing out. This 50-year-old lady looks decent.
You're rocking it.
That's my job every day, to make sure Liz is feeling good. Because
Liz,
when
did
her
you get a
hair is
haircut?
good, the office is good.
True. The hair is bad. Watch out, everyone. I'm a simple gal with simple needs. It's a nice hair day. No, I think this is great. I'm excited. I appreciate y'all playing on the Zoom game with us, and we'll just keep going.
Yeah, give us your
we hate
feedback,
it.
guys. Do you like this medium? Do you like seeing us? Are you seeing too much of us? Do you want to see
Do you
more
notice a
like
difference?
Liz? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I'm excited.
Talking about transformation and change with our show, there's also AI, which is changing the entire world at lightning speed. It's funny, I was watching a TV show just recently of what to expect the next 5 years, and should it play out to be true, it's unbelievable. It's this exponential growth of technology, that we're doubling or tripling. I can't remember, there's a law about this, like every 18 months we double our technology. It's really coming into such full throttle now. But AI is one way it's being expressed. So we brought on an extraordinary guest for you. His name is Eric Eager, and he's the CEO and co-founder of 4Impact Data, which is an AI software company that's revolutionizing business guidance for SMBs. He's a CPA, so he's a brethren. And
recovering CPA.
Recovering
CPA and seasoned entrepreneur with 20 years as a career in successful exits, global expansion, and leadership. And when he's not working, he's cracking dad jokes. With no further ado, Eric Eager, welcome to our show.
Oh my.
Well, man, hey, glad to be on.
Glad to have you. We got to start with the biggest ask. What's your favorite go-to dad joke?
Dad joke. If your toddler refuses to take a nap, are they resisting arrest?
That's a good one. And I love that was right there. Right there, Eric.
Yeah. All right. The show's over. Thanks for joining us.
Hold on. I do have that. Oh, I missed my timing. Here we go.
Not too shabby, Liz.
That was a good one.
Eric, start us off about with AI. What's your impression of what AI is doing in the accounting industry and actually all industry?
I think in the accounting industry, what you're seeing in the profession is that the things that I used to do when I first started at Ernst & Young a gazillion years ago, those manual operations, I believe it's going to start pushing the things that we used to do are going to, the menial task. It's going to take away those manual tasks and start making us move up to the things we like doing, the fun things that, yeah, don't get me wrong. I like reconciling a good bank account like anybody, but I'm old school. But what's going to do, it's going to push the jobs that we used to do is now going to push us up to a higher level of thinking and advisory and these other things. And I think it's also going to start to do, it's going to compress the tax and the audit. A lot of the things that we used to do is going to become more and more automated. And I'm seeing that across businesses. And it's an exciting time for those who don't fear this but embrace it. It is a great time to be an entrepreneur like never before, and especially small business, because you can compete now with so many because you have access to this information.
Mm.
Are you seeing a resistance in the field towards AI like we saw a resistance to towards cloud computing about 10 years ago?
Um, you're seeing a little bit of that. I mean, I was just, kind of talking to our CTO, and you hear this comment about either you embrace it or you get scared of it.
Mm.
And people that are embracing it, it's this kind of new world order, but the ones that are figuring it out, I think the adoption rate is because, oh, by the way, it's getting embedded everywhere you look anyhow.
Right.
So a little bit, the cloud thing, it was, everybody was touting, we're cloud, we're not cloud, we're cloud. This one, there's a lot of components you may not even know that AI is getting embedded in there. And so you're starting to see that through the profession, because now you notice a lot of tech companies, they're not saying AI this, AI that. It's just wired into the systems.
So,
So
so what would be a system that you guys are working on, like an example of an AI wired system, something that, we're going to be using that we don't realize has AI components?
okay, so like one of the things we're working, for example, is the fact that the financial planning and analysis that's been around forever. Well, here's the thing, is the business owners, we're all looking forward. At the end of the day, I need to know what's happening. What's the things that keep me up at night as a CEO? Is it what's it look like around the corner? And not only tell me like what the problems are, but what can I do about it? Because it's great to tell them I'm about to run out of gas. That's fine. But okay, I can see that. I can see the gas gauge and the cash and all that dropping. What I need to know is what can I do about it?
Hmm.
That's the beauty, is you get to tap into this knowledge that before we all had to learn lessons the hard way. But if you now tap into, hey, my days of cash are slipping and my client is seeing profitability drain, and you can now present it prompted right or have it pre-built for you like what we're doing. You can ask those questions and have it respond. And the responses are way, and it's personalized guidance.
Mm.
And so now you're starting to see this, hey, if my gross profit's dropping, my days of cash are doing, and my customer margin's dropping. When you see that combination, what are the things you'd recommend? What are the benefits and what are the consequences? Years before, that would take months and hours of analytics. Now you can get that almost instantaneously.
Well, that and also the years of experience to understand how to correct those things. I mean, we have, accountants that are graduating that have never solved or been in any of these issues
Mhm.
before. So how are they going to make recommendations when, they've never experienced, or a firm may have never experienced that sort of delivering of advice or systems or
Oh,
processes, right?
exactly. And I think that the beauty of it is that I'm lucky enough to serve on my local school board in here in the Dallas area, and I have the honor of serving community 37,000 kids, and so I got a handle on, and even my own kids, of how are they going to handle this new generation, and the biggest thing in the profession is upskilling new staff. That's the biggest challenge. Well, the number one thing that we help kids that have the biggest impact is simulations, is that I can go read a book on days sales outstanding and my cash conversion, all that. But when you give them real world simulations, it sticks and they learn faster. And so that's the kind of thing that we're working with. And so the more kids can get hands on, because like I was telling somebody the other day, man, I was Ernst and Young. Man, I left and went and started my first business. So when I left, I tell my dad's an all electrical engineer, and and I kind of now look back because I was an entrepreneurial idiot
Hmm.
because I didn't know what I didn't know. And oh, you're a CPA and this and that. Half the stuff I learned, I had to learn by get out and doing. Now I had to, much like everybody else, had to learn the hard way because um, I had to bruise, luckily enough, not crash a business and stay alive long enough. Today's market's moving so fast. I don't have that luxury, but kids now and the next generation, they're going to be able to tap into the system is telling me to do this, this, or this. And now you can literally think through and evaluate those options and get there fast. And so I'm excited about their ability to identify problems, help their clients make a difference. And they're learning it. They're going to learn at a rapid pace than you and me and us old gray hair people never had that luxury.
Totally.
I'm thinking,
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I'm okay. I'm thinking of Stephen Covey's quote. He said, to know and to not do is to really not know. And what I've observed, Eric, is that many accountants, bookkeepers, they dig into these numbers, they crunch it, they finally find an answer, they give it to the client, but the client never executes on it.
Mm.
What I'm hearing is AI will get us that answer that we spend so much time on right now, faster and better, more accurately. Does that change the role of the accountant, the bookkeeper? When you have this knowledge, what do you do with it? Does your role change?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And then here's the thing, and I'm not going to knock E&Y, but my whole champion is the bookkeepers. The people that are actually writing the book and handling the financials, they know more about those businesses than any partner. And so what's happening is that it takes them a long time to find that AI is going to get to those answers faster. But if you look at it, it's almost a responsibility to let your clients know about this. Hey, if I know something that's dangerous or risk to your business, I don't let you know about it. Shame on me.
Right.
But the other thing too is now it can say, hey, and now you can go back and go, hey, I've got this problem, and how do I put it in common terms? And how do I explain it to that business owner? My big thing on is if you explain it to them in a question that they're looking to answer and not what I want to call CFO speak it.
Mm.
If I start going in day sales outstanding and cash conversion, they don't understand. But if you get down into answering the question of, hey, look, every business owner, do I have enough cash? What do my best customers look like? Hey, what looks like around, and if you get into those fundamentals, my big thing is that the fundamentals of business, whether you're 1 million or a billion, they're all the same. And if you can answer those questions, the advisory role of the bookkeeper, it's going to get pushed up there. And that's the fun stuff. That's the fun stuff that you can get to a client. And now you can communicate it to them in a way that you're answering the question. Here are the benefits, but here's also the consequences if you ignore it. And you can just kind of have to keep reminding them like a good fitness trainer. Hey, look, how you lose weight, eat less and exercise. Well, I'm going to keep reminding you until you do it.
Yeah. And the good trainer may actually show up at your gym. So does the accountant and bookkeeper, are they starting to be more involved in the solution? And now we know the problem. Do they have the opportunity to say, hey, we can work together on actually bringing this to resolution?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And absolutely. And honestly, I think everybody in this profession, we all want to help that business owner not only survive, but thrive because it helps our communities, it helps families, it helps everybody. And we all want to, and honestly, that's where a lot of us got into the profession because we want to help. We want to help those. So now you're going to get involved with this discussions. And oh, by the way, you can rapidly, as they come back with responses, well, what about this? What about this? Now you can tap into this global knowledge if you know how to ask the questions right. Because my big thing is that, it's intelligent. It'll answer any question you have. The real wisdom is knowing which questions to ask.
Smart
Mhm.
questions to ask, right?
I was helping a member the other day who was asking, for some, what are the basic skills that an entrepreneur needs? And I always lead with critical thinking. And it's because of what you just said. So, our AI is scary if you can't ask it the right question, right? It'll give you a million answers, but we have to get so much better at critically thinking about what we want to know. What are we really looking for? What do we really want to do with this data? The more clearly we're able to ask a question, the more clearly we're able to anticipate sort of where we think we want to go. That's when AI really takes off.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
Eric, there's going to be so many AI companies, AI tools,
Right.
and we just went through 10 years of every app being sold to, right? I mean,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the last 10 years, it's been app slap. Everybody's got an app and they're
Oh
selling
yeah.
it to and every app is going to make the accounting firm more efficient, more consultative, richer.
Yeah.
How do we evaluate to determine whether or not a specific technology is going to be good for us or our customers?
Um, you know, at the end of the day, if we're all trying to come alongside and make that entrepreneurial, success.
Yeah.
And the things that entrepreneur CEOs, I ran into this, and I can tell you how many dumb mistakes I've made. Is that it's time. Here's what entrepreneurs don't have enough: time and money. Okay, and then advisors have the same thing: time and money. So if you look at it and you get down to the fundamentals of helping that entrepreneur, what they need help with is that if the system you're looking at can help them to identify, work on this will have the biggest impact, you'll change the odds. Because
Almost like a fix this next.
yeah, and I'm telling you, I was lucky enough to get to an exit with my last tech company. And I took a year off and I was studying why businesses fail.
Okay.
Because you always hear this 50% are going to fail in the next 5 years. And I thought, that surely can't be true now. We got all this technology and AI. That number stayed consistent year after year after year. And I was trying to be, I was like literally searching on this quest of why is that the case? And I found it in a study that would literally change the percentage success or failure by 70%. It was the one single thing that could change the odds for business owners.
Profit first.
And it was profit first. And I read the book, and they paid themselves first, and it was amazing. And I was trying to find the people who originated that because I wanted to say thank you. And
No, thank you. Great job.
the end of the day, it came down to this no duh. It was experience gaps. As you go through each stage of a business, from what I call the survive, I studied the Harvard 5 stages of business growth.
Yeah.
And as you go through each stage, it's experience gaps.
Yeah.
And it's the old, I hate to simplify it, but it's we didn't know we didn't know.
Yeah.
And so you try to plug those gaps with, hey, I'm starting a business. I'm going to go hire somebody who's really good at this. And then you hear these, as you start to grow, businesses still fail because they've never expanded and they've overexpanded. And so if you can plug those gaps with experience and wisdom, basically don't make the same dumb mistakes I've made and a bunch of other entrepreneurs, tap into that wisdom, you're going to get further faster. You're still going to make mistakes, but you're going to get further faster and you're going to be able to react faster. So this is where this AI space is going to make. So when you look at technologies, look at that, you can save them time, and that's great. You're going to give them more time back, but also look on the guidance of what can it do to pinpoint things and get me further or faster and avoid making the same mistakes. And that's where I think the AI it is the best time to be an entrepreneur. If you're starting new things out, and oh, by the way, the accounting profession, um, little people don't know this, but accountants are the most trusted business advisor out there. It's actually above clergy.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's above clergy, believe it or not.
It's amazing.
And so, I'm in this whole idea of, let's look at the end of the day, I ask CEOs and I go, hey, hey, if you're having a problem, do you call your accountant? And I go, no, if I don't need a tax return or audit done. Why am I going to call them? But they're the number one person you trust.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get in there and start identifying things, so I don't talk to you once a year, but I now all of a sudden go, hey, Ron, hey, listen, I ran you through, I was looking at your books, I ran it through these new AI systems. And it's saying that in the next 18 months, you're going to have a problem. And do you mind if I come over and talk to you about that? Because I'm a little concerned. That is it gets over the fear of calling. Because, well, nobody wants to call and do that typical, hey, Mike, how's it going? Is there anything else I can do for you this year?
Right.
I click. But now if I call Mike up and go, Mike, hey, listen, I looked at it. It's looked like right now in the next 18 months, it's projecting that you're going to have a financial distress in these areas. This is concerning to me. Do you mind if I come over and talk to you about it?
I'd say I
Every
think
day.
consult with my pastor first.
So, yeah, so there's this wonderful opportunity because as you build a business, guess who the first person you call, the first person you interact with? It's your accountant.
Yeah.
It's your first person. And as you move along that journey, they should be along with you every step of the way.
You said something really interesting or put in our talking points pre-show. And I know this is kind of a left turn, but I got to ask, you said there's only 3 business miles in all of history.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have guesses, but I want to know, what are they?
Okay, I'm glad you're sitting down because this is going to be earth shattering.
Okay.
Really, either you manufacture something,
Okay. That was my first guess.
you distribute something that somebody else has manufactured,
Not my second guess. Okay.
or you provide a service.
Okay. That was my third. Okay. I got
And
2 out of
I've
3.
tested that for years, and it holds true even from the history of time. What do you do if I'm a farmer? I'm manufacturing
Yep.
food.
Yep.
And if I'm at a market, I'm selling other goods. And then if I offer a service, and if you get down to the fundamentals of answering questions about those 3, you can seriously help. People get off track. They lose sight of the fundamentals of their business. And if you can stay on track and stay fundamental and answering the fundamental questions, it keeps a ton of entrepreneurs out of the ditch.
How can our listeners better serve their customers these days?
Here's the thing that I would say is, as you're working through financials and you're looking at data, because data is going to overwhelm you. We're going to have a data explosion. What I would say, and this is what I talked about codifying wisdom, don't get caught up in the data overload where you're getting data and you're trying to do all this. Keep coming back to the common sense question. What's the question you're trying to answer?
Yeah.
And so it brings it back into terms that the CEO can answer and understand. Because guess what? 95% of businesses that start, they're either a great salesperson or they built a great product. Only a very small percentage have any financial literacy. And so if I can come to them and just go, listen, like I'll give you an example. I was working with a Stanford MBA McKinsey consultant, and I was trying to work on some models, and it was customer concentration risk is the technical term. You get too much. And I had to come back to him and say, listen, what question are we trying to answer? You're coming to buy these companies and PE, and it all came down to, do you get too much revenue tied up in too few customers? Bring it down to the fundamentals.
Yep.
And if you help your client go, listen, hey, Liz, I know you're sitting around and this and that. These are the things I know you're concerned about. Let's look at these questions about, hey, we're going to sleep at night. Do I have enough cash?
Right.
Where are my best customers? What do they look like? And if you can stay focused on the fundamentals, you'll have more of a bigger impact than you ever know.
There's a series of coaching questions that we read a book a couple years ago, and the first one is, what's on your mind, and then it's like the third or fourth one. It said, it's basically like, and what else? And you just let them keep going, and then you say, what's the real challenge here for you, right? And if you say yes to this thing, what do you have to say no to? And I find that those 2 questions, like what's the real challenge? And if we go to fix that challenge, what do we have to say yes or no to beyond that? That, to your point, it's the fundamentals and just the very simple pieces of that. I love that. Thank you.
How do we get all this
great
knowledge, this data into AI? Like, we have a listener, they have a client, they want to start using AI to be of service to this client, as you outlined. How do they get all the inputs in?
Well, we have a company that does that.
Good. Well, and we'll talk about
Here
that.
you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Ta-da!
Surprise!
Surprise!
Warning. And if you order now, we're going to double the offer. It really came down to, most people, they're overloaded with data. So if you get it into a standard model, and I mean, like, here at the end of the day, people get overwhelmed. SAP Cube, QuickBooks, if you peel back the covers on all these systems, guess what? They all got debits and credits. They all got customer invoices. So if we went and codified the wisdom of others, and so and Liz, I like you're talking about, you're asking questions about those entrepreneurs, and you're kind of Six Sigma kind of root cause and why. But the bigger problem is that it's not trying to answer the questions that I'm trying to answer right now. It's trying to answer the questions I didn't even know to ask. And so if you go through and look at the fundamental questions and stay focused on that, and that's what we codified to make it easy, because our whole mission was change the odds for business owners. And that included change the odds for advisors, because if we can equip advisors to help, then that fulfills our mission of helping more business owners. And oh, by the way, I helped to liberate my fellow accountants into a higher profile and appreciate it,
Right.
like we should be.
Right.
And so if you do that, and you have to, with that, it's speed in which you can get the data in, it's helping answer questions. And with that, it's not only getting the data in, but now the machine learning and the AI, it can predict where you're going.
Right.
Because that's it, it'll predict. And then my big thing again is, if it predicts, it can also give you solutions to what to do about it. Don't tell me there's a problem. I can tell you all day long. Predict where I'm going and what do I do about it?
Yeah.
And that's our whole mission of, hey, let's change the odds so some people don't have to go through. I give you one example of a lesson learned.
Give it to us in 60 seconds. We got to wrap. We just got the bell.
Oh man. Okay. Well, then I'll shut up.
It goes so fast. You can't tease.
Like next episode. It really came down to this, is that I showed up, we went to a trade show, and we thought that's the way you sell software, and we, millions of dollars. And then years later, somebody said, hey, have you ever looked at customer acquisition cost? And I went, well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it came down to, hey, I wish somebody would have told me years ago. And so that's what we're trying to do to help that next generation entrepreneurs.
Eric, we did hit our time limit here, but now this is the pitchy pitch time. We
I
do want
know.
to hear about your
Perfect.
business. Tell us, how can our listeners learn about your system and use it for this type of work?
Okay. So the name of the company is 4 Impact Data, the number 4
Yep.
and Impact Data.
Okay.
And it's like a GPS for business. It's the
Mm.
best way to analogize it. It monitors, it predicts, and it recommends, like you're driving a car. It's taking data from all these thousands of other businesses. It's projecting what the road ahead looks like, and hey, there may be problems. And it helps recommend solutions so you can reroute to get to that destination point faster. Whole thing implements in a week. We've got an advisor guidance system. And man, we were CPA.com accelerator in 2023.
Nice.
And stay tuned. We can get the whole thing up and going in less than a week. And man, we're excited because we're making a difference. And I appreciate you letting us talk about it.
Thank you. And to our listeners, check out 4 Impact Data. Eric, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah,
Great
Eric.
job. Thanks, Eric.
We'll see you later.
All right. I think our listeners know the routine. Liz, Ron, we're going to recap what we learned. We got an Obi-Ron Insider Access. I got GMAP Now test. That's going to blow your mind. But first, there we go.
Come on.
But first,
Oh, geez. I'm
big
so
question
sorry.
today. What's the big question you got today?
All right. The question is, I am naturally best at A, words, B, visuals, C, dealing with people, D, numbers, E, ideas, F, GSD, getting, done.
Yeah, I would say words for me.
You really? That's weird. Mr. Author Man.
I better say,
I
I'm
was
typing
gonna
a book.
say, thank you. Yes, correct. Yes, I would agree. Oh, wait, what, always? Have you always been better at words? Would you say that was that forever?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Okay. Ronald?
Yeah. I mean, I think the last one, getting stuff done, I'm pretty good at moving the ball across, from where it
Yep.
is to where it needs to be.
Yep. I would agree. What do you think
Yeah.
about me?
People,
Yes. Correct. See,
the queen
dealing with people.
of charisma.
The queen of something. No, that was great. And I like the idea of thinking, because Ron, I bet you were always good at getting stuff done. Like all your stories, you're always the
Clean the dishes, Ron. They were done. Boom.
So
already done, Mom. Make your bed.
Yeah.
Done.
it's so funny you say that, because if you look back at all my report cards as a kid, I got very bad grades because I always wanted to be the first one done.
Correct.
Getting
There
it
you
done
go.
was more
Get it done.
important than getting
Done.
it done right.
Get it
I
done.
should have worked for the government.
Let's do the takeaways from Eric's
All right.
discussion.
You want
Ron, why don't
another
you start us
stinger?
out?
Okay, good. I didn't think so. Okay.
Ron,
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of pages of various different notes here, but I'd like basically to sum it up with AI is going to speed up the experience gap. That's going to help you learn faster, sooner, wider, if you will, in a much shorter amount of time to deliver help to your customers.
Liz,
Nice.
I like that. Liz, how about you?
Well, there were a lot of great things in there, but I loved the little thing you snuck in there about the 3 types of business, because as he wrote them,
It's cool.
what I wrote was make, share, serve.
Oh, there you go.
Right? Like as you say, manufacturing, sharing, or
that's exactly
distribution, and serve, make, share, serve. Like that's pretty much what
That's
we
a
as
bumper
humans
sticker.
do. It
Yeah.
is a bumper
That's a
sticker.
t-shirt.
That's but I never thought about it that way. So that was a cool little aha. Like he kept saying fundamentals, and it's as simple as you make something, you share something, or you serve something.
That's
Yeah.
great.
That was great.
Amazing. You make it into an
Yeah.
acronym, SMS. There you go. Like messaging.
SMS.
Great.
There you go.
My takeaway was a 1-2 punch from Eric. He said, people need to know what I can do about what I know. So it's not just the awareness, it's the actions to take based upon that. And he said, but you need to explain the answers based upon the questions they have. People don't want to know all of this heady stuff. They want to know, do I have enough cash? Who's my
Yeah.
best customer?
Right.
So answer their questions in the way they frame it, and then tell them the actions, maybe even work with them in taking the actions to resolve the challenge that presents itself.
I also got one awesome interview question that I can interview somebody and ask them this question. How can you answer the questions I did not know how to ask?
Mm.
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 AI.
Oh,
Nice.
that's the answer.
I don't know, but that's that's pretty good. Answering questions I did not know how not to ask. I mean, that's, one of the things is, hey, what am I not asking? Right? What do I need to know?
Yeah.
Very
That's
good.
great.
Talking about
Thank
need
you.
to know, why don't you whip out that lightsaber of yours? There it is. Obi-Wan lightsaber. This is something Ron is doing at our offices, and we think you can do it at your office. What do you got?
Yeah, so this is not necessarily a program or initiative. It's more of a mindset. And every time we look to learn something new, we have to remember to strengthen our mental fortitude. We're going to have internal pressures ourselves and external pressures other people saying, "Oh, pack it in, quit." But we quit too early in society. So every time we're reading a book, learning a new skill, implementing a new initiative, we make sure to understand that uncomfortableness is learning. That uncomfortableness is you growing, getting to the next step. So everybody here, if you're going to be picking up AI, understand that difficulty of learning is growth. Stick with it, because the gain that got you there, you're this close to being more proficient than you were the other day. So strengthen that mental fortitude and keep persevering.
Oh, there's the mind blown. Explosions everywhere.
Whoa.
I got one more thing for you before we wrap up. It's called the GMAP Now task. If you do it, you'll see results. It's interesting. I had a PFP ask me to do a shotgun sales call with them. I did it today.
Really?
Yep. And just to give them the debrief. And it was so clear. All they were doing was showing up and throwing up. It was like feature. So I was like, how can, because we all know, not to do that. Here's what I came up with. And I want to just reiterate it because I think we all can use it. Customers are not buying the transaction. They're buying the transformation, right? They don't buy the drill, they buy the hole. So I said, I like these alliterations and rhymes. I said, dwell on the before and sell the after. And basically, well,
Two t-shirts in one show.
Right. But the whole sales technique is I said, it was an hour call. 45 minutes is just dwell on the before. Talk about the splinters you get when you try and make the hole with your finger, the pain, get a sense for it. Then the sell the after is, well, we can make a hole where you have no splinters and so forth. They will then ask the questions. Well, what are the features that do that? Stop saying the features. We have this, we have that. That kills the sale every time. So dwell on the before, sell the after. They'll ask questions about the features. Let's get out of here.
That's awesome. And I'm guilty of that as well, too. So if I over-featured you guys, call me back and I'll share with you the results that you all really want. But thank you. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, listeners. Don't forget to subscribe to Grow My Accounting Practice podcast so you never miss an episode. And we can be found on every podcatcher out there, right?
Right.
And what do they need to do, Lizzo?
Oh, you know what? So here's the real deal. If you would like to learn more, some of the magic that Mike shared, some of the magic that Ron and I shared, hanging out with cool people like Eric here, go to head to profitfirstprofessionals.com, click on the Become a Profit First Professional. You'll have an opportunity to speak with Ron, to speak with me. We won't share all the features, but we will share the benefits and the transformations. We have some amazing community members, tons of fantastic resources, but this is all about transforming your business so you can be the true advisor to offer the CFO services of your dreams. That's it.
Awesome.
ProfitFirstProfessionals.com. Get over there right now. Thanks,
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.